Hi, my name is Shiva and I'm a class action attorney. My typical day involves attending a lot of conference calls and meetings with other lawyers to discuss our strategies with our cases and divide work amongst us to work on the cases that we have decided to bring. We also spend a lot of time researching through legal databases, finding cases and statutes, and figuring out the laws that apply to our particular facts of the cases that we're bringing. We spend a lot of time writing briefs and persuasive arguments that we bring before the court and we file in our cases, and spend time also in discovery, reading through documents and pulling important documents that support our cases. All of this requires us to usually spend between 50 and 60 hours per week, sometimes working late into the night to meet our deadlines, and also working on weekends. But again, that varies depending on where we are in our cases. So the requirements for becoming a lawyer are, of course, a bachelor's degree. It can be either a BA or a BS, a law degree, which is your Juris Doctorate degree, and passing a state bar exam. And each state's bar exam is different, so you have to be pretty much certain where you're going to be living and working and take that state's bar exam. As far as skills, you need to have really good analytical skills, really good writing skills. So I recommend great undergraduate major would be political science or English, finance, history. With all of these majors, you're using and developing those analytical skills and also writing a lot of papers, which will get you comfortable with being able to write persuasively and well, clearly, and those are the types of skills that will help you through with law school and also with being an attorney. The best part of my job is that every day is pretty new and exciting. You get to go in and each day is different from the next. It's never like I'm doing the same thing twice, because the legal issues that we work on are vary so vastly between one another. And I also really enjoy working with the teams of lawyers, both within my law firm and other law firms that we work with. So it's nice to have that interaction. Typically, a class action law firm will not have a lot of day-to-day client contact, so I don't have to deal with a whole lot of clients calling on a daily basis for their issues. It's usually one class representative that's for working for the entire class. And it's also nice to work on behalf of consumers that would not necessarily have the wherewithal to go against a big company, and I really enjoy working on behalf of those types of clients. As far as the worst of the job is basically losing cases when we have invested a lot of time into those cases and we are working on a contingency fee basis. So when we lose a case, we've basically lost all of our investment into that without getting anything in return. And another part of the job that is difficult is working within tight deadlines, and there's typically, as a case is proceeding through the discovery phases, there's just a lot that needs to be accomplished within a really short time period. My words of final advice for students considering going into the legal profession is to make sure that you spend time working as a paralegal or legal assistant or even as a receptionist in a law office in an area of law that you think or believe you may wish to practice, because that will really help you see day to day what lawyers do. You'll be helping the lawyers in a lot of significant tasks and also developing the types of skills that you need as a lawyer, such as doing some of the legal and factual research and developing those skills of attention to detail, learning how to file cases electronically in the courts. So you'll be gaining exposure to those skills and also developing those skills as a paralegal. And that is just very, very important for before you get into it. And if you find that you don't like this type of work, then you're forewarned before starting the process of going to law school. Also, working as a paralegal will help with your acceptance into law school. I think that a lot of law schools do not consider students nowadays right out of college unless you have an outstanding GPA and outstanding credentials. So working as a paralegal is also important for that reason. Another very important consideration is the cost of going to law school. Typically, debt ranges for law school can go upwards to hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that you will accrue for gaining your legal education, not to mention the costs of taking and preparing for the state bar exams. So it is a significant undertaking, and it's really important to make sure that you are very interested in practicing as a lawyer and becoming a lawyer before undertaking that debt and regretting your decision. Another consideration is that right now the legal market is extremely saturated. There are more lawyers now than jobs to support them. So what we've seen with many of I graduated in 2007, but from 2008 onwards, 2009 onwards, I'd say a lot of students that undertook the debt and the investment and time to go to law school and become a lawyer are unable to find jobs to even come close to supporting that investment. Making sure you get into a top 20% law school and is also really important. I'm sure all the law schools are good, but for finding a job, going to a top law school and getting the best grades that you can get in that law school and the highest ranking that you can get and studying really hard while you're in school is really, really important. Don't just go into it because you think you're going to be in court every day and arguing and speaking, because a lot of the work that you're going to be doing is not going to be in front of a judge arguing a case like you may see on TV. It's going to be mostly behind a computer, behind a desk, spending long hours reading through documents and writing out your persuasive arguments. And most of the issues are decided on the papers by the judge. And oral advocacy is important, but it plays a really small role. And as a junior associate, such as me or anybody else, you won't really ever get to argue an important case before a judge until you're at the 10 or 20 year level and you've become very seasoned.